Bananas you left out. 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 Bananas left out. Bananas left out. Bananas left out. Bananas left out.
Guys, I have great news. I officially hit my standing goal for the day. My watch just told me. Sorry, I didn't mean to make everybody jealous as soon as you just appear here. And immediately I'm just flexing on y'all. Sticks out tongue, wags it, winks, shrugs, raises eyebrow, I don't have any caffeine today. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I usually have caffeine. I usually have my medication that I take for ADHD. I usually have that, but I don't have it right now. That's why I didn't do Creepypasta Friday last week, if I'm being honest. It was yeah, I didn't do it last week because I was just feeling a little more bummed out than usual. I'm silenced. Okay. A little more bummed out than usual. But yeah, I didn't stream it all last week, and I missed it. Oh gosh. I feel awful when I don't stream. It just feels bad to not stream. Because your boy might be getting pretty close to maybe getting that the Twitch part, not partnership, is the thing before associate. Anyway, I'm almost to the point where I can start making money doing this. Oh, crazy. Then my dream, I might have talked about this last week actually. My dream of having a huge my totally realistic dream of having a huge streamer show up, or a huge content creator in general show up and give me like a bajillion dollars. Like, oh, you didn't have to do that. And I can act all humble and be like, oh, you didn't have to do that. Oh, I can refund you. Oh. Except I wouldn't refund them at all. I would take that money. I would wipe the drool from my mouth and I would absolutely take that money. And nobody can stop me from doing that. Absolutely nobody can stop me from doing that. Nobody can stop me from doing that. Looks like nobody's here yet, and that's okay. Okay. I have my entertainment here. Little ginger beer. Crafted soda. It tastes like dirt. It is not my favorite ginger beer I have tried. But the dirt... I hope your week can be full of eventful... Thank you! I think you say something nice every time you've been here. Thank you. This is an eventful moment right here. Doing a stream and reading a creepypasta eventually. I'm just waiting for people to show up right now. We just might hop right into it. I know absolutely nothing about this creepypasta. So it'll be interesting, new for all of us. It says 77 minutes of reading. This says 57 minutes of reading. Usually I read like a 5-10 minute length ones, and it's usually like it takes me like half an hour to read those because I've got a lot to say. I've got a lot to say about creepypastas. Let me tell you what. Usually when they're not good. This one might be good. It's got a 9.08 out of 10. That could mean anything. This is a famous creepypasta. And I know absolutely nothing about it. Usually I've got like a little bit of exposure before this, but yeah. This one might be good. Probably won't actually be scary. I know very few creepypastas that are actually scary. It's fine. I completely lost my train of thought. I'm gonna drink more ginger beer. Ugh. Oh, I am not a fan. Oh my gosh. Still gonna drink it. Except those sodas that aren't like super caffeinated and stuff, they go straight through me. Just long reading time here. I'm probably gonna have to use the bathroom. Okay. Bedtime. So who is there information on who wrote it? Michael Whitehouse? Hopefully not our America's White House. I have no idea what to make out of that. Okay. Cue the spooky music. Okay. Bedtime. Part 1. The beginning. Okay. I like this intro so far. Bedtime is supposed to be a happy event for a tired child. Off to a good start. I remember as a child when I was tired, I absolutely, that was such a happy event for me. Going to bed, okay. For me, it was terrifying. While some children might complain about being put to bed before they have finished watching a film or playing their favorite video game. Oh, British. Oh. When I was a child, nighttime was something to truly fear. Somewhere in the back of my mind, it still is. Advertisements. As someone who is trained... Okay. I gotta lock in. I can't already be giggling at every little thing that appears on screen here. As someone who is trained in the sciences, I cannot prove that what happened to me was objectively real. But I can swear that what I experienced was genuine horror. A fear which, in my life, I'm glad to say, has never been equaled. I will relate it to you all now as best as I can. Make of it what you will, but I'll be glad just to get it off my chest. Can't remember exactly when it started, but my apprehension towards falling asleep seemed to correspond with my being moved into a room of my own. I was 8 years old at the time. 8 years old? Holy cow. I don't remember how old I was. Holy cow. Okay. No. No, okay. I was an adult. I was an adult. Half of my siblings had moved out of the house at that point, but I did eventually get my own room. Probably 19. It's 20. Oh my gosh. No. I was like 19. No. Okay. That's not too bad. It's not too bad. I had five siblings growing up, so sharing rooms was just the way it is. The way it was. Okay, got moved into his own room. I was 8 years old at the time, and until then, I had to share... Man, holy cow. I was 8 years old at the time, and until then, I had shared a room, quite happily, with my older brother. It's like me. As is perfectly understandable for a boy 5 years my senior, my brother eventually wished for a room of his own, and as a result, I was given the room at the back of the house. It was a small, narrow, yet oddly elongated room, large enough for a bed. What's that highlighted? Shivering in my boots. Oh, creepypasta.com, never change. Large enough for a bed and a couple of chest of drawers, but not much else. I couldn't really complain because even at that age, I understood that we did not have a large house, and I had no real cause to be disappointed. As my family was both loving and caring, it was a happy childhood during the day. Ominous. Oh. During the day. A solitary window looked out onto our back garden. Nothing out of the ordinary, but even during the day, the light which crept into that room seemed almost hesitant. As my brother was given a new bed, I was given the bunk air bed. I'm not going to click on that link. The bunk air beds, which we used to share. While I was upset about sleeping on my own, I was excited at the thought of being able to sleep in the top bunk, which seemed far more adventurous to me. From the very first night, I remember a strange feeling of unease creeping slowly from the back of my mind. I lay on the top bunk, staring down at my action figures and cars strewn across the green-blue carpet. As imaginary battles and adventures took place between the toys on the floor, I couldn't help but feel that my eyes were being slowly drawn towards the bottom bunk, as if something was moving in the corner of my eye. Something which did not wish to be seen. Ooh, that got me a little bit. Ooh. The top bunk, though, that's a good idea. It's just big enough. The room's just big enough for a bit. It's like open floor plan. If only there's like some of those what are those, like galvanized steel beams to make the room space more efficient. I love that meme. I love those videos where they're like, this floor plan, how can we efficiently build this better? Anyway, top bunk, looking down at the toys, imagining battles and stuff, and he's like, something don't look right down there. The bottom bunk. Advertisements. The bunk was empty, impeccably made, with a dark blue blanket tucked in neatly, partially covering two rather bland white pillows. I didn't think anything of it at the time. I was a child. Yeah, would a child be thinking about, those white pillows are kind of bland, not gonna lie. He wasn't thinking about it, okay. I didn't think anything of it at the time. I was a child. And the noise slipping under my door from my parents' television bathed me in a warm sense of safety and well-being. I fell asleep. Oh no. When you awaken from a deep sleep to something moving or stirring, it can take a few moments for you to truly understand what is happening. The fog of sleep hangs over your eyes and ears, even when lucid. Something was moving. There was no doubt about that. At first, I wasn't sure what it was. Everything was dark, almost pitch black. Vin Diesel? But there was enough light creeping in from the outside to outline that narrowly suffocating room. Maybe narrow, suffocating room? Narrowly suffocating room, okay. Two thoughts appeared in my mind almost almost simultaneously. The first was that my parents were in bed because the rest of the house lay both in darkness and silence. The second thought turned to the noise which had obviously woken me. Oh great, it's woke. As the last cobwebs of sleep withered from my mind. Okay, I like the way he's describing waking up from something, because that's literally the way I wake up every single morning. Just like, oh, I hear music, I hear beeping. What is that? Try to get my bearings together, and then finally realize that's my alarms. Oh no! Excuse me. As the last cobwebs of sleep withered from my mind, the noise took on a more familiar form. Sometimes the simplest of sounds can be the most unnerving. Cold wind whistling through a tree outside, a neighbor's footsteps uncomfortably close, or, in this case, the simple sound of bed sheets rustling in the dark. Ooh. That was it. Bed sheets rustling in the dark, as if some disturbed sleeper was attempting to get all too comfortable in the bottom bunk. I lay there in disbelief, thinking that the noise was either my imagination or perhaps just a pet cat finding... Oh, just my pet cat. Okay, just a pet cat. Or perhaps just my pet cat finding somewhere comfortable to spend the night. It was then that I noticed my door shut and it... My goodness. It was then that I noticed my door shut as it had been as I'd fallen asleep. Perhaps my mom had checked in on me and the cat had sneaked into my room then. Yes, that must have been it. I turned to face the wall, closing my eyes in the vein that I could fall back to sleep. As I moved, the rustling noise from underneath me ceased. Thought that I must have disturbed my cat, but quickly I realized that the visitor in the bottom bunk was much less mundane than my pet trying to sleep, and much more sinister. What? I quickly realized, okay, maybe he'll explain it, but it was just like that sixth sense that creepypasta writers have. It's like, I soon realized this was sinister. It smiled evilly at me, you know, that kind of thing, where it's like, what does that mean? But, okay, I'll take your word for it. As if alerted to and disgruntled by my presence, the disturbed sleeper began to toss and turn violently, like a child having a tantrum in their bed. I could hear the sheets twist and turn with increasing ferocity. Fear then gripped me, not like the subtle sense of unease I had experienced earlier, but now potent and terrifying. My heart raced as my eyes panicked, scanning the almost impenetrable darkness. I let out a cry. I have a sound effect for that.
Bruh.
That's... that works. Okay. I let out a cry. That's pretty freaking good. Just sitting there in the top bunk and like... You moved a little bit after hearing all the rustling beneath you, and then like after you move a little bit it goes like totally quiet. Then it just goes like flinging around everywhere, and I would probably cry. I would cry. I would scream. As an adult. Just as a kid, it's like I cried at everything as a kid. That wouldn't mean anything. I would cry as an adult. As most young boys do, I instinctively shouted on my mother. What is his mom? Me when my mom is I don't. I could hear something stir on the other side of the house, but as I began to breathe a sigh of relief that my parents were coming to save me, the bunk bed suddenly started to shake violently as if gripped by an earthquake, scraping against the wall. I could hear the sheets below me thrashing around as if tormented by malice. I did not want to jump down to safety as I feared the thing in the bottom bunk would reach out and grab me, pulling me into the darkness, so I stayed there, white knuckles clenching my own blanket like a shroud of protection. The wait seemed like an eternity. Yeah. Yep. The door finally and thankfully burst open, and I lay bathed in light while the bottom bunk, the resting place of my unwanted visitor, lay empty and peaceful. I cried and my mother consoled me. Tears of fear. Tears for fears? Everybody wants to rule the world. I'm drinking more ginger beer. Tears of fear, followed by relief, streamed down my face. Yet through all of the horror and relief, I did not tell her why I was so upset. I cannot explain it, but it was as though whatever had been in that bunk would return if I even so much as spoke of it, or uttered a single syllable of its existence. Whether that was the truth, I do not know. But as a child, I felt as if that unseen menace remained close, listening. I cannot explain it. It should be. I couldn't explain it. It's neither here nor there. Spooky. My mother lay in the empty bunk, promising to stay there until morning. Eventually, my anxiety diminished. Tiredness pushed me back towards sleep, but I remained restless, waking several times momentarily to the sound of rustling bed sheets. What do you mean by that? What's your mom doing down there? What do you mean by that? We'll move on. We won't question that anymore. But we don't need to. We don't need to. We don't need to. I remember the next day wanting to go anywhere, be anywhere, but in that narrow, suffocating room. It was a Saturday, and I played outside, quite happily with my friends. Although our house was not large, we were lucky to have a long, sloping garden in the back. We played there often. I had a giant, at least lawn in the back of our house one time. Actually, I had two houses that had like big yards in the back that sloped down. It's nostalgic. What do you think of that? Worthless comment. Thanks, Mothman. Moving on. We played there often. As much of it was overgrown, and we could hide in the bushes, climb in the huge sycamore tree which towered above all else, and easily imagine ourselves in the throes of a grand adventure in some untamed exotic land. As fun as it all was, occasionally my eyes... Why is it always a sycamore tree? I did the same thing as a kid. I just put... It was like sycamore trees. Sycamores. I do love sycamores. I think they're awesome trees, but... I think pine trees are kind of goated, though. It's just because an American. True American. Red-blooded, surrounded by fir trees, evergreens. Name it. I like pine trees. Used to live in Washington, and that was one of my favorite parts. The evergreen state. It's just green trees everywhere. Seen Twilight? That was it. Okay. As fun as it all was, occasionally my eye would turn to that small window. Ordinary, slight, and innocuous. But that's such a... Okay, yeah. Good vocabulary. That's good. That's good. That's good. Yeah, I'm not gonna make fun of that. Okay. Maybe a little bit. But for me, that thin boundary was a looking glass into a strange, cold pocket of dread. Outside, the lush green surroundings of our garden filled with the smiling faces of my friends. Oh my gosh, hang on. Outside, the lush green surroundings of our garden, filled with the smiling faces of my friends, could not extinguish that creeping feeling crawling its way up my spine, each hair standing on end. The feeling of something in that room, watching me play, waiting for the night when I would be alone, eagerly filled with hate. Eagerly filled with hate? Because the thing hates it? I do like the incomprehensible sort of nature of the presence so far. Yeah, especially as a kid, like something that's completely incomprehensible of like it seems like the worst thing in the world that a creepy entity can do to you is just show itself to you or just exist in the same area as you. I don't know why. Why is that such a thing as a kid? It's like, I remember my brother, my little brother, talking about that. He's like afraid that a zombie, like if he got too close to the space in between the bed and the wall, like a zombie was gonna grab his head and pull him under the bed and show him its face. And that's like it. It doesn't even need to kill you or threaten you in any way. It's just, it shows you how scary it is, and that's it. That's it. You're done. That's it. It's enough to scare any kid. Trust me, I would know. May sound strange to you, but by the time my parents ushered me back into that room for the night, I said nothing. I didn't protest. I didn't even make an excuse as to why I couldn't sleep there. I simply and sullenly walked into that room, climbed the few steps into the top bunk, and then waited. As an adult, I would be telling everyone about my experience, but even at that age, it felt almost silly to be talking about something which I really had no evidence for. I would be lying, however, if I said this was my primary reason. I still felt that this thing would be enraged if I so much as spoke of it. I just thought of something. This is extremely random, but there we go. See the cursor now. Nice. Hey, Chest Daddy, welcome. Okay, kid. So far, kid is in a small room. He's 8 years old. He's in a bunk bed, but he's by himself, sleeping on the top bunk. And in the bottom bunk, at night, something was thrashing around, and it scared the bejesus out of him. And he's going to bed again, right now. Okay. It's funny how certain words... Deja vu. Deja vu! Why is it saying first time chat for you? You've absolutely chatted in my chat before. What the heck? Okay. Unless you made a new account. I don't know. Okay. Anyway. Deja vu. I'm right in that place before. High in the streets. It's funny how certain words can remain hidden from your mind, no matter how blatant or obvious they are. One word came to me that second night. Lying there in the darkness alone, frightened, aware of a rotten cage in the atmosphere. Ooh, I have 97 alternative accounts. That's such a good meme. I have an announcement to make. Shadow the Hedgehog is... Okay, no. A thickening... Okay, I'm just thinking about that now. I'm thinking about that whole spiel that Dr. Eggman goes on. It was real, it did... Yeah. Okay, spooky time. Get spooked. Okay. One word came to me... One word came to me that second night, lying there in the darkness alone, frightened, aware of a rotten change in the atmosphere. Did I say cage before? I read that like 5 or 6 times, and I read cage. Change in the atmosphere. Duh! It's freak... Okay. Aware of a rotten change in the atmosphere. A thickening of the air as if something had displaced it. As I heard the first casual twists of the bed sheets below, the first anxious increase of my heartbeat at the realization that something was once again in the bottom bunk. That word, a word which had been sent into exile, filtering up through my consciousness, breaking free of all repression, gasping for air, screaming, etching, and carving itself into my mind. Ghosts. You sure it wasn't 7 times? 7 times? 7 times? 7 times? 7 times? 7 7 times. I purposefully avoided saying that. You say literally any number, any 2 numbers, and someone's like, "Don't you mean 6 7?" I do that to other people too. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. Ghost. Maybe Patrick Swayze's gonna be at the bottom bunk. Okay. As this thought came to me, I noticed that my unwelcome visitor had ceased moving. The bed sheets lay calm and dormant. They had been replaced by something far more hideous. A slow, rhythmic, rasping breath heaved and escaped from the thing below. I could imagine its chest rising and falling with each sordid, wheezing, and garbled breath. I shuddered, hoped beyond all hope that it would leave without occurrence. It's Epstein. Funny you say that. I thought of that. I thought of that when the thing first started appearing in the bottom bunk. I was like, "Hey, Epstein." And then I restrained myself. What is that reaction? That's a good picture. That's good. Jeffrey Epstein. The house lay, as it had the previous night, in a thick blanket of darkness. Silence prevailed, all but for the perverted breath of my as yet unseen bunkmate. I lay there terrified, just wanted this thing to go, to leave me alone. What did it want? And something unmistakably chilling transpired. It moved. It moved in a way different from before. When it threw itself around in the bottom bunk, it seemed unrestrained, without purpose. almost animalistic. This movement, however, was driven by awareness, with purpose, with a goal in mind. For that thing lying there in the darkness, that thing which seemed intent on terrorizing a young boy. Not Epstein, at least. Young girls. Calmly and nonchalantly sat up. His labored breathing had become louder. Now only a mattress and a few flimsy wooden slats separated my body from the unearthly breath below. Ooh, that got my spine tingling a little bit. That feeling, like being a kid, like on the top bunks, like that's the only thing separating you from a nightmare is just a little bit, just that little bit in between there. That's what Epstein wants you to think. Oh no! I have no idea how to follow that up. I thought about his egg-shaped penis, and that's it. That one interviewer that... I was thinking about this the other day. Someone was... Stop the spooky music. This guy had Jeffrey Epstein and was interviewing him, and he kept bringing up his egg-shaped penis as if it was like such a big own. It's like, hey, so you got an egg-shaped penis, eh? Like, yeah, we're gonna talk about that egg-shaped. There's nothing. There's so much on that guy. They're gonna talk about how he likes to touch a little girl. Okay, okay. Anyway. I lay there, my eyes filled with tears, a fear which mere words cannot relate to. Which words... Mustache is itchy. A fear which mere words cannot relate to you or anyone else coursed through my veins. I would not have believed that this fear could have been heightened, but I was so wrong. I imagined what this thing would look like, sitting there listening from below my mattress, hoping to catch the slightest hint that I was awake. Imagination then turned to an unnerving reality. It began to touch the wooden slats which my mattress sat on. It seemed to caress them carefully, running what I imagined to be fingers and hands across the surface of the wood. Ooh, I don't like that. I be running my fingers and hands across the surface of wood. Hey, am I right, fellas? Sorry, I almost missed that. Doof. Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, what did I miss? Is this a good one? I think it is. This one's got me so far. Okay, so this kid, he's 8 years old. He gets moved to his own room. Gets moved to his own room. He's in a bunk bed, and the bottom bunk, the first night, there's like something moving around there. He can hear the sheets and stuff moving around. And then he like realizes that and like moves around a little bit, then it stops when it hears him. And it's quiet for a second. And then it started thrashing around like crazily, and then he screamed for his mom. His mom comes in and then is like, "Oh my gosh," blah, 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 and then sleeps on the bottom bunk until the next day. Right now, at first he could hear it moving around, and then as soon as he realized, he started thinking like, this is a ghost. It stops moving like that, and then he could just hear it breathing below him in the bottom bunk. It's just like, And then he hears it sit up. And it starts touching and caressing the wood beneath him. The wood and the mattress beneath him. It's like... It's just unless... Marky Mark. Oh! Just Uncle Marky Mark. He's gonna start singing. Good vibrations! It's just a sweet sensation! As he's touching the wood. Oh, gosh. Woo, okay. Then, with great force, it prodded angrily between two slats into the mattress. Even through the padding, it felt as though someone had viciously stuck their fingers into my side. I let out an almighty cry, and the wheezing, shaking, and moving thing in the bunk below replied in kind by violently vibrating the bunk as it had done the night before. Small flakes of paint powdered onto my blanket from the wall as the frame of the bed scraped along it backwards and forwards. He's bringing the whole funky bunch. That works. Oh, sheesh. Once again, I was bathed in light, and there stood my mother, loving, caring, as she always was, with a comforting hug and calming words, which eventually subdued my hysteria. Of course, she asked what was wrong, but I could not say. I dared not say. I simply said one word over and over again. Nightmare. Was? Is she dead? No, she's British. She's British. She's British. Guys, come on, come on. Calm down. She's not dead. That's worse. You think about that. I can only say one thing over and over again. Marky Mark, Marky Mark. Son, was the Funky Bunch there too? Not yet. Oh, it's worse than I thought. I mean, hey, Sean, it's worse than I thought. Oh, Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. It's worse than a nightmare. It's real life, ain't it, son? Okay. This pattern of events continued for weeks, if not months. A bucktooth tea-drinking, no-cookie-having colonizer? They have cookies, they just call them biscuits. Hey, are you Americans telling us you call that a cookie? The biscuit, chocolate chip biscuit, isn't it? Bucktooth tea drinking. Biscuits ain't no choo-chee. I wish I had an eagle sound effect. Wish I could be like D. Bradley Baker and just pull animal sound effects out of my... Do a pterodactyl. I haven't done that in so long, holy cow. Loud eagle sounds. You know, eagles. Okay. Okay, pattern continued for weeks, if not months. Night after night, I would awaken to the sound of rustling sheets. Each time I would scream so as to not provide this abomination with time to prod and feel for me. Ugh. With each cry, the bed would shake violently, stopping with the arrival of my mother, who would spend the rest of the night in the bottom bunk, seemingly unaware of the sinister force torturing her son nightly. Gosh, that just taps into that fear as a child of something that's just messing with you to be creepy for no reason. It's like, gosh. Ugh. My spine. Along the way, I managed to feign illness a few times and come up with other less than truthful reasons for sleeping in my parents' bed. But more often than not, I would be alone for the first few hours of each night in that place. The room where the light from outside did not sit right, alone with that thing. With time, you can become desensitized to almost anything, no matter how horrific. I had come to realize that, for whatever reason, this thing could not harm me when my mother was present. Was present, not president. Sounds like simp. He's 8 years old. Sorry, kid, it's me. I like sneaking into people's rooms to caress the wood boards under the beds. It's only my nightly pleasure. It's my only nightly pleasure. Who would you want to have under your bed? Godzilla? Instead of the breathing, he hears... Godzilla! And then he roars, he's like, oh no, it's Shin Godzilla! They call me the Midnight Barber. Okay, Midnight Barber sounds pretty upsetting. It's like that guy on Courage the Cowardly Dog. What's his name? The smiling guy who, like, gets off on, like, shaving people. It's so creepy. In there in the night, styling away. Okay. Better not do it to me. He'll treat you like a Barbie. Cut your hair. You'll think it never grows back, but it's him. It's the Night Barber. I bang on the windows, crying through the locks. How long is the children's hair? Oh, it's 8 o'clock. I already do it to you. I was wondering who was cutting my hair. I was wondering. Can I zoom in? Should I just read like this from now on? Oh. Do you think your hair stays stylish? Oh. I thought of that. Oh. The more you know. Oh. What do you think, Speaky? Yeah. Oh, I had it so nicely centered and everything. Okay. That's good. Okay. Where the heck are we? Okay. Oh, okay. It can't hurt him when mommy, sorry, mommy, sorry, mommy, sorry, mommy is in the room. I don't think he's seen the video, but good on you, Mothman. Is that a video? Is that like a TikTok or something? Is there a video I don't know about? It must be. So sad. I know that. Oh, well. contact your agent to send it to you.
All right. I appreciate it. I will watch it.
From an old British comedy. Do I know that? I mean, this is British, so I could read the whole thing in a British accent. After a few months, I had grown accustomed to my nightly visitor. Do not mistake this for some unearthly friendship. I detested the thing. I still feared it greatly, as I could almost sense its desires and its personality. You could call it that. One filled with a perverted and twisted hatred, yet longing for me, of perhaps all things. I'm not going to read it like that the whole time. My greatest fears were realized in the winter. The days grew short, and the longer nights merely provide... Okay. My greatest fears were realized in the winter. The days... Stop. The atmosphere is gone. No! It wants his skin, isn't it? Hey, bruv. I've got a license for taking your skin.
Oh no! That's not good.
Alright, bruv. I'm gonna take your skin. Sorry about that. Got a knife. Got a knife.
My greatest fears were realized in the winter. The days grew short, and the longer nights merely provided this wretch with more opportunities. It was a difficult time for my family. My grandmother, a wonderfully kind and gentle woman, had deteriorated greatly since the death of my grandfather. Dang. Whoa.
Oi, what's all this? Oi, you wankers.
That's sad. Okay. My mother was trying her best to keep her in the community as long as possible. However, dementia is a cruel and degenerative illness, robbing a person of their memories one day at a time. Soon, she recognized none of us, and it became clear that she would need to be moved from her house to a nursing home. That's freaking sad. Sundowning. It's like that movie, The Visit. That movie scared the poop out of me. I had poop come out of my butt. It was scary. That was a scary one. Dementia is scary. Period. In so many. That's one of my biggest fears. Some people are terrified of like cancer and stuff. Yeah, that's scary. I am absolutely terrified of getting dementia. I am so scared of that. That's like number one thing. You remember the poop scene? Yeah, with the diaper? Right? Forgot about that.
Do you remember the poop scene?
Yeah, okay. That was nasty. It was like, have something disgusting like that to add to the spookiness. It was a lot, okay. Before she could be moved, my grandmother had a particularly difficult few nights. But it was kind of dumb. Get out of here!
I liked it. I liked it.
You what, mate? I'll fight you. Okay. There. Yeah. Gross never equals scary for me. It was gross. It wasn't like scary. It was just like ah. that to go along with the spookiness. Yeah. It was more like a cringe. It was kind of a horror comedy. Yeah. Okay.
Back to the story.
Before she could be moved, my grandmother had a particularly difficult few nights at my mother decided that she would stay with her. As much as I loved my grandmother and felt nothing but anguish at her illness, to this day I feel guilty that my first thoughts were not of her, but of what my nightly visitor may do should it become aware of my mother's absence. Her presence being the one thing which I was sure was protecting me from the full horror of this thing's reach.
You think you can fight me, bruv? Drink a pewter and we see who comes out on top, eh?
Drink a pewter? Like a computer?
I can split the G. I can split the G on a Guinness mug. Hey, don't get me started, eh? Don't even.
Take your bones. I will blend your teeth. I rushed home from school that day and immediately wrenched the bed sheets and mattress from the lower bunk. Right on. Oh man, I'm dreading this night. I'm dreading getting to this night. Okay. Removing all the slats and placing an old desk, a chest of drawers, and some chairs, which we kept in a cupboard where the bottom bunk used to be. I told my father I was making an office, which he found adorable. Yeah. But I would be damned if I'd give that thing a place to sleep for one more night. Where I'm around town make people think you stupid. My bones? My bones? Yeah, oh, okay. People see you walking around with the skeleton of this half moth, half man creature. They're like, that guy's skeleton. He looks stupid. That guy was probably stupid. And you look over at him. Yeah, don't even get me started. He was stupid.
These are his bone. Took him right out from under his skin.
As darkness approached, I lay there knowing my mother was not in the house. I did not know what to do. My only impulse was to sneak into her jewelry box and take a small family crucifix, which I had seen there before. While my family was not very religious, at that age I still believed in God, and at that age I still believed in God. It's like,
But I grew up eventually. Magic Man of the Sky.
okay. And hoped that somehow this would protect me. Although fearful and anxious, while gripping the crucifix under my pillow tightly in one hand, sleep eventually came, and as I drifted off to dream, I hoped that I would awaken in the morning without incidents. Unfortunately, that night was the most terrifying of all. Oh no. Okay. I woke gradually. The room was once again dark. As my eyes adjusted, I could gradually make out the window at the door, and the door, and the walls, some toys on a shelf, and even to this day I shudder to think of it. For there was no noise, no rustling of sheets, no movement at all. The room felt lifeless. Lifeless, yet not empty. The nightly visitor, that unwelcome, wheezing, hate-filled thing which had terrorized me after terrorized me night after night was not in the bottom bunk. It was in my bed. Ah! Ah! It is Jeffrey Epstein! Oh my gosh! Oh gosh. I opened my mouth to scream, but nothing came out. Utter terror had shaken the very sound from my voice. I lay motionless. If I could not scream, I did not want to let it know I was awake. Called it Epstein. He's sitting there doing that smug smile in that one iconic picture of him laying there watching him. I don't think he can see it, though. I think it's behind him. He's going to feel an egg shape pressing up against his booty. Okay. I had not seen it yet. Okay, yeah. Had not yet seen it. I could only feel it. Egg pressed against my butt cheeks. Okay. It was obscured under my blanket. I could see its outline, and I could feel its presence. Oh, no. Oh. But I dared not look. Yeah, don't. The weight of it pressed down on top of me? On top of me? Well, of course he can't see him. He's behind a paywall. Behind the DLC. The Big Steen. Ogre Fatty Dude. That's such a good name. Ogre Fatty Dude. It's on top of him. Oh my gosh. I could see its outline, and I could feel its presence, but I dared not look. The weight of it pressed down on top of me, a sensation I will never forget. When I say that hours passed, I do not exaggerate. Oh boy, okay. Laying there motionless in the darkness, I was every bit scared and frightened. I was every bit a scared and frightened young boy. Ogre equals best girl. Oh no. Maybe top 10. Maybe top 10. I don't know. She has the best sneeze. How does that? It's like... Okay. If it had been during the summer months, it would have been light. It would have been light by then, but the grasp of winter is long and unrelenting, and I knew it would be hours before sunrise. Sunrise which I yearned for. I was a timid child by nature, but I reached a breaking point. A moment where I could wait no more, where I could survive under this intimately deviant abomination no longer. Fear can sometimes wear you out, make you threadbare, a shell of nerves leaving only the slightest trace of you behind. I had to get out of that bed. Then I remembered the crucifix. My hand still lay underneath the pillow, but it was empty. Oh, frick. I slowly moved my wrist around to find it, minimizing as best as I could the sound and vibrations caused, but it could not be found. I'd either knocked it off the top bunk or it had... I could not even bear to think of it been taken from my hand. Hera Fury, you would be enjoying this way too much. That's why this story is not written about you. It's written about this scared little boy. I could see you raising an eyebrow. Like, a ghost has joined me in bed? How quaint. Without the crucifix, I lost any sense of hope. Even at such a young age, You could be acutely aware of what death is and intensely frightened of it. I knew I was going to die in that bed if I lay there, dormant, passive, doing nothing. I had to leave that room behind, but how? Should I leap from the bed and hope that I make it to the door? What if it's faster than me? Or should I slowly slip out of that top bunk, hoping to not disturb my uncanny bedfellow? Realizing that it had not stirred when I moved, trying to find the crucifix, I began to have the strangest of thoughts. What if it was asleep? Sleep? Yeah, what else? I saw a notification on my iPad. I'm using an iPad to track my face, by the way. It's very, very convenient having having a huge iPad stuffed behind my monitors where just the camera's poking out. Very convenient, must say. Break an ankle doing that. Well, break an ankle or survive the night. Or don't survive the night. Okay. Anyway. I was wondering if it was asleep. Hadn't so much as breathed since I had woken up. Perhaps it was resting, believing that it had finally got me, that I was finally in its grasp. Or perhaps it was toying with me. After all, it had been doing just that for countless nights. And now with me under it, pinned against my mattress with no mother to protect me, perhaps it was holding off, savoring its victory until the last possible moment. A wild animal savoring its prey. Dead is preferable. Personally, I would rather break an ankle. The kid's leaving out that he's the fastest 8-year-old of all time. It's implied, though. True. True. Yeah. The ghost is like... when he gets, you know... What do they call it? When he hits FTL speeds, leaving the bed. He's like, how does this kid scale? Is he faster than Goku? Gosh. That was funny, Mothman. I tried to breathe as shallowly as possible, and mustering every ounce of courage I could, I reached over slowly with my right hand and began to peel the blanket off of me. What I found under those covers almost stopped my heart. That was funny, Mothman. Thanks, Oni Jordan-chan. That was funny, Mothman. He's peeling the blanket off of him. Oh my gosh. Ooh, okay. What I found under those covers almost stopped my heart. I did not see it, but as my hand moved the blanket, it brushed against something. Something smooth and cold. Something... laugh. He outruns a ghost. I think that scales his speed to multiversal. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, because he outrode a ghost that one time. That basically makes him one of the fastest things in multiple verses. Okay. Something smooth and cold. Something which felt unmistakably like a gaunt hand. I held my breath in terror, as I was sure it must now have known that I was awake. Nothing. It did not stir. It felt dead. After a few moments, I placed my hand carefully further down the blanket and felt a thin, poorly formed forearm. Okay, Kid Solo's Goku. I have a theory. What if it's his dead grandma laying on his chest? Oh, wait, no. No, it can't be. Because the mom is with the grandma at grandma's house. So it can't be. Okay, never mind. It is literally a ghost sleeping on top of him. Oh my frick. Okay. Okay. It did not stir. It felt dead. After a few moments, I placed my hand carefully further down the blanket and felt a thin, poorly formed forearm. I already read this. My confidence and almost twisted sense of curiosity grew as I moved down further to a disproportionately large bicep muscle. The arm was outstretched, laying across my chest, with the hand resting on my left shoulder as if it had grabbed me in my sleep. I realized that I would have to move this cadaverous appendage if I even so much as hoped to escape its grasp. Like Ned. Dead. Like Ned, I suppose. For some reason, the feeling of torn, ragged clothing on the shoulder of this nighttime invader stopped me in my tracks. Fear once again swelled in my stomach and in my chest as I recoiled my hand in disgust at the touch of straggled. Oh my gosh. As I recoiled my hand in disgust at the touch of straggled, oily hair. I could not bring myself to touch its face, although I wonder to this very day what it would have felt like. Dear God, it moved. It moved. It was subtle, but its grip on my shoulder, across my body strengthened. No tears came, but my goodness, how I wanted to cry. As its hand and arm slowly coiled around me, my right leg brushed along the cool wall, which the bed lay against. If all that happened to me in that room, this was the strangest. I realized that this clutching, rancid thing which drew great delight from violating a young boy's bed was not entirely on top of me. It was sticking out from the wall, like a spider striking from its lair. Oh, gosh, man. Suddenly, its grip moved from a slow tightening to a sudden squeeze. It pulled and clawed at my clothes, as if frightened that the opportunity would soon pass. I fought against it, but its emaciated arm was too strong for me. Its head rose up, writhing and contorting under the blanket. Now realized where it was taking me. Into the wall. I fought for my dear life. I cried, and suddenly my voice returned to me, yelling, screaming, but no one came. Then I realized why it was so eager to suddenly strike, why this thing had to have me now. Through my window, that window which seemed to represent so much malice from outside, shrieked hope, the first rays of sunshine. I struggled further, knowing that if I could just hold on, it would soon be gone. As I fought for my life, the unearthly parasite shifted, slowly pulling itself up to my chest, its head now poking out from under the blanket, wheezing, coughing, rasping. I do not remember its features, I simply remember its breath against my face, foul and cold as ice. As the sun broke over the horizon, that dark place, that suffocating room of contempt was washed, bathed in sunlight. I passed out as its scrawny fingers encircled my neck, squeezing the very life from me. I awoke to my father offering me some breakfast. A wonderful sight indeed. Oh my gosh, dude. Whoa. Whoa. He better be getting a full English breakfast, man. Been trying to reach you about your car's extended the ghost. It's like, no, anything but that. Not my jalopy. I had survived the most horrible experience of my life until then, and now. I moved the bed away from the wall, leaving behind the furniture, as I believed would stop that thing from taking a bed. Little did I think that it would try to take mine and me. Oh, little did I think that it would try to take mine and me.
I give you egg on toast. My son, my beautiful boy, I make you egg on toast. Ugh. Breakfast with crumpets and tea and all. Yes. Perhaps some biscuits, isn't it?
Look at poor Speaky up there. Scared. I'm sorry, Speaky. Okay. Weeks passed without incidents. Incidents? Also, why did it care about him being awake? That's such an irrational, specific fear I've had. Apparently not that specific, though. That's what I'm talking about. Like, this whole story is, like, centered around these really specific childhood fears. It's like being shown something scary and being taken away. It's like, for some reason, as a kid, those two things are scarier than death. Man, and like, gosh, and like something scary being in your room and like pretending like you're still asleep. Like if it... Okay. Would you say incidents with a CE instead of a TS? Yet on one cold, frostbitten night, I awoke to the sound... Weeks passed without incidents. Beans as well.
Beans on toast, isn't it?
I think beans on toast is the most barbaric thing. We need to just nuke England just for that. Like, okay, guys, either stop doing the beans on toast or we're nuking you. You're done. Dunzo. Later, Bozo. Nothing but a big crater where the beans on toast once were. Heaven. The world would be a better place. War would end. Done. Dunzo. Weeks passed without incidents. Yet on one cold, frostbitten night, I woke to the sound of the furniture where the bunk beds used to be, vibrating violently. In a moment, it passed. I lay there, sure I could hear a distant wheezing coming from deep within the wall, finally fading into the distance. I've never told anyone this story before. To this day, I still break out in a cold sweat at the sound of bedsheets rustling in the night, or a wheeze brought on by a common cold, and I certainly never sleep in my bed against the wall. Call it superstition, if you will, but as I said, I cannot discount conventional explanations such as sleep paralysis, hallucination, or that of an overactive imagination. But what I can say is this. The following year, I was given a larger room on the other side of the house, and my parents took that strangely suffocating, elongated place as their bedroom. They said they didn't need a larger room, just one big enough for the bed and a few things. They lasted 10 days. We moved on the 11th. It was not exclusive to the kids. It happened to the parents, too. The parents were like, hey, kids, I just feel like moving. Just feel like moving for no reason. Yeah, we're moving. Yeah. Look, how much longer is this? Oh, no. It's not just the big stain. Yeah, I know. The big steen. The epi of all steens. This is a long story. Holy moly. It's still going. Okay, yes, I 100% underestimated. I underestimated just how long the story is. I can imagine they wouldn't want to affirm his fears. Yeah. Yeah. As parents, they're like, you know, maybe we shouldn't tell our kid, like, hey, that reason you were screaming every night, it was real. That was real. Oh gosh, I'm hungry. I'm gonna... Mayhaps. I gotta stop saying mayhaps. I sound like a millennial. I am a millennial. Can't lie. I turned 33 this year. What an existential threat that is. I turned 33. Goodness. The Mothman. I'm timeless. Old. I know. Say perchance. There we go. That's how I sound younger. Perchance. I love that. I love that there's like old-timey lingo. Perchance. Like perchance and I fear. Eat a salad, fatty. Perchance. No.
I don't like salad.
I got myself some, what's it called? Those crickets helping the silence? Donut, eh? Yeah, that sounds good. I did eat a donut today. Someone else bought it, but I ate it. Spinach! Holy cow! That took way too long to remember. Bought myself some spinach the other day. Made myself a spinach salad. It was awful. I've eaten spinach salad before, and I loved it. This one, I think the spinach was just cheap and sucked. And I used Caesar dressing, which I think I should have used vinaigrette. What's that called? Like the raspberry berry. Yeah. I had salad for lunch and chili mac for dinner. Ooh, chili mac. I used to get chili mac all the time. Oh, I don't know if this is TMI. It gave me horrendous gas. Not just like, ooh, uh-oh, stinky. But like my insides. Like, oh man, I feel the gurgling inside me now. It's like it was bad. A Cliff Bar dipped in syrup is to die for. What is wrong with you? No! Get out of here! You nasty! How many parts does this story have, by the way? Since juice for a snack. How many parts? I think I'll read 2 parts tonight. Advertisements. Part 5. Okay. Oh, sin juice for a snack. Okay. Okay. Wild stuff. Okay, I'll see how things go, but I'm gonna read 2 parts tonight. Usually I read 2 creepypastas anyway. This is just a really long one. It says, I'm at 20%. You got until then. Oh, gosh. Oh, no. Oh, your messages are going to be even more incomprehensible, Hair of Fury. 19%. Okay, okay, okay. We're good. We're good then. We're good then. Okay. Part 2. After writing my account of an horrific horrific. Okay. After writing my account of an horrific experience I had as an 8-year-old child, many in my phone. Oh. Okay, I immediately. You said sin juice, so I was immediately like, oh, alcohol. Okay. Okay, phone. Okay, I'll just read this one really fast. After writing my account of a horrific experience I had as an 8-year-old child, many have encouraged me to speak of the aftermath. Okay, I'm not going to do that. Many have encouraged me to speak about the aftermath. Out of 10, you... Oh! You old foggy.
Hey, man. Man, nothing looks smooth on this old ticker up here.
I don't know if you guys can hear that. That hurts. I'm going to stop hitting my head now. Okay.
Ooh, whoa, I knocked the brain cell.
I'm gonna keep reading. I can't do this. I can't do this. I've been hesitant to do so, as I have felt unsettled since I broke my silence. Sleep has not come easy to me these last few nights. My skepticism, however, remains resilient, and as such, I will tell of what I experienced in the other room. That sounded painful. Thank you. First step to understanding someone else's pain is listening. Step 1. Step 1 of empathy. Listen. I like that tentacle one.
Kraken! Hey, you got 20 bucks? You got 20 bucks, you can get a Kraken.
You will. Okay. My skepticism, however, remains resilient, and as such, I'll tell of what I experienced in the other room. This won't be as long. Oh, hey, cool.
20 bucks, 20 bucks.
Tastes like divorce and parental disappointment. That goes so hard.
The Kraken. Vodka.
It is vodka, right? Or is that whiskey? Or is it rum? No, that's whiskey, right? Don't drink. I'm trying to belong. I'm trying to sound cool. No idea. Okay. Let's look it up. I'm gonna look it up real quick. The Kraken. It's rum! What do you know?
Kraken rum is a strong, dark Caribbean spiced rum known for its rich, spicy flavor. Often used in cocktails like the Kraken and Cola with cola and lime. The Kraken Storm with ginger beer and lime.
Also popular in coffee drinks, Cracpuccino, or mixed with other juices and liquors from various cocktails, from simple highballs. That's disgusting. Everyone said it tastes like gasoline. Krakatoa.
Oh, that would go super hard. Mix it with Fireball.
Oh, I've never had Fireball. I don't drink, obviously. Do you mix multiple... do people do that with... I'll never tarnish coffee like that. I don't know. You haven't tried it. You haven't tried it. Don't knock it till you try it.
Come on, man I trust most. Do a crackaccino for the boys. Okay, back to the spooky story. This won't be as long, as what occurred only took place over a few days, but that was more than enough for me. Do it for the vine! Yeah! When was that? 2017? It's 2017 again! Do it for the vine!
Yep.
Excuse me. If you recall, after that unwelcome nightly visitor left me, I was moved into another bedroom a year later. This room was much larger than the previous one and had a warm and welcoming atmosphere to it. Some places feel bad. I can imagine. The room before felt foul, but this one did not. Thankfully, I was given a normal bed. The previous one was taken apart and thrown out. A welcome sight, I might add. Huh. Why throw it out? Why not just give it to someone? Like, my current bed was a bunk bed. I think it's the bottom bunk, actually. Yeah, it's the bottom bunk. It's works totally fine. Not as a bunk bed. I actually have no idea what happened to the top bunk. Maybe my brother took it. I think he did. Yeah. He would have the bottom bunk. I was a bottom bunker, baby. Bottom bunk. Bottom bunk. Bottom bunk. I love the bottom bunk. That was my entire life growing up, was the bottom bunk. That was all I've ever known. Hear the slaps on my belly because my hands are tweaking and just going all over the place. Billy! Okay. I loved my new room. I enjoyed the space for all of my toys. I was happy that... That does go pretty hard. Yeah. I was happy that the place was large enough to have my friends drop by. Oh, yeah. But most of all, I was relieved to just be out of that uneasy, foreboding part of the house. On the first night, I slept more soundly than I had done for a long, long time. Of course, I still moved my bed several feet from the wall. Yeah. I told my mother that I and my friends... Oh my gosh. Get it together, Mothman! I told my mother that I and my friends liked to use the gap between the bed and the wall as a hiding place when we were playing. I awoke the next day feeling refreshed and relaxed. As I lay there watching some of my favorite cartoons on a small portable television, I noticed something odd. An old dark brown armchair, which had always been there, sat at the foot of my bed, large and looming. It was frayed and worn, having been given to us as part of a suite by my cousin, but it had been used many times since then. The chair itself was not unusual, but what unsettled me was that I could have sworn that before I had went to sleep, the chair had been facing away from the bed. Oh boy. Now, in the cold light of day, the chair was facing me. I assumed one of my parents had moved it while I slept, probably looking for something which had been left there. Really? Your grammar was so good this entire time, and you dropped the wrong there? You drop a possessive there in the place of a locational there? Location there? Is that locational? I don't know. Left there what before switched rooms? Or we switched rooms? Skill issue. Yeah, you got that right. The second night was not as restful. It was around 11 p.m. and I could hear my parents' television from the other side of the house. The room was largely in darkness, the only illumination an orange hue drifting
through my window and the streetlights outside. I lay there content. Content until I heard something quiet, yet unmistakable. Is that the breathing? Oh no. First, I thought it was the sound of my own breath, exhaling and inhaling as I rested. But when I stopped for a moment, the quiet, almost inaudible sound of someone else in the room breathing in and out did not cease. It continued, rhythmically and without pause. I lay there in the darkness, while I was still recovering from the terror instilled in me from my experiences in my previous bedroom. I was not entirely afraid. Breathing was so distant and unlike the wheezing I had heard during my encounter with that thing in the wall that I remained calm. And even at the early age, I believed that it was so subtle, it was probably my imagination playing tricks on me. Still, I took no chances. I stepped out of bed, walked across the room, and turned the light on. The sound had gone. I stared at the old worn armchair. You need a comma there. Facing the foot of my bed, which was within reaching distance of where I slept. I turned it around to face the other way. I had no real reason to do so, but something about it sitting there filled me with dread. The third night, I was not so fearless. Again, I awoke in darkness. Lying on my back, I stared up at the ceiling, which seemed to happily absorb the dim orange light from the street. The tree outside my window swayed in a calm breeze, casting a strange collection of improbable moving shadows across the room. I could hear nothing but the long and distant hum of the city's night traffic. Just as I began to drift back into sleep, I heard it. A creak from the bottom of my bed, as if something had moved, or shifted its weight on the floor. Why's it gotta be under the bed? He just got up. His ankles were just there. I raised my head, peering through the darkness, but saw nothing strange. Everything sat as it had done throughout the day. Nothing was out of place. I cast my gaze across the room. So,
Go, gays! Woo!
Gays are way braver than any man. Good to cast them across the room. Get him!
I cast my gaze across the room. Dang, I ruined that word for me. Some comics on the floor, a few boxes which had still to be unpacked. The armchair unmoved, still facing away from the bottom of a bed. There was nothing sinister here. I was now fully awake, glancing over at my television, considering whether or not to enjoy some late-night TV. I had to keep the volume low, of course, as my older brother would hear it from the next room, and no doubt he'd tell me to switch it off. Just as I sat up fully in bed, I heard it again. A low creak. Shouts at the chair. I'm gay!
Cast my gaze across the room.
I'm gay! And the ghost is like, ew. The ghost is like,
Woke. Yeah, I'm out of here.
Okay. Sound of the slightest movements. I looked again at the room. The dim orange shadows cast by the leaves hanging by my window now took on a more menacing form. I still saw no reason to be afraid. I stared at the chair at the end of my bed and saw nothing unusual about it. It's quite common for the mind to take a moment to fully come to terms with what it is seeing. It takes time to pull the full horror of what is in front of you together into a moment of cold, bitter realization. Yes, I was staring at that old, worn armchair in the dark, but I was But what I was also staring at was the person sitting in it. Why? Why can't he just have, like, a nice, comfy childhood and we can just be bored and reading a story about this nice, happy, quaint British child trying to sleep? Oh my gosh. He was strong. Oh no. So the ghost beat him to his room. That means... So the ghost scales higher than he does at this point. Holy crap. Is there anything above multiversal? That's crazy. That's crazy. In the dim light, I could only see the outline of the back of its head. Oh, gosh. Gosh, this is actually getting me. This is actually freaking getting me. This is a creepypasta Friday first. Yes, outerversal. Okay, okay. Thank you for grounding me. Grounding me. That is why you are the man I trust most. Okay. The rest obscured by the spine of the chair. I sat motionless, staring, praying, hoping that my eyes were being misled by their surroundings. The slow creak of movement as it shifted in its battered throne chilled me to my very core. This was no mere trick of the dark. Then it shifted onto its right side. I knew what it was doing. It was turning to look at me. Alright, well guys, that's the end of Creepypasta Friday. Thank you for joining us. Oh my gosh, what the frick? It's... Gosh, man, if I cannot stress... Okay. No, we're fine. We're good. Oh. It was difficult to make out, for even in that room, it seemed darker than everything around it. I saw what it looked like, a collection of long fingers slip over the crest of the chair, then another. The room was silent, but the sound of this thing shuffling in its seat, and the crash of my racing heart. At first, I could only make out the outline of its forehead. Then it began to rise up, revealing 2 pinpoints of light in the dark recesses of its deeply set eye sockets. It was staring at me. Making s'mores. Good. Enjoy your s'mores, Hera Fury. Congratulations, Hera Fury. Enjoy your s'mores. S'more of what? Haven't had any yet. Oh. Ugh. I screamed, and within a moment my brother and mother came into the room, switching the light on, asking if I'd had another bad dream. I sat speechless, barely acknowledging them, staring intently at the now empty armchair. I was only in that room for another few days before we suddenly moved. Okay, he didn't forget about the move. He didn't forget about the move. I was wondering. Okay. I saw nothing for the remaining nights, except for my last sleep in that room, where I woke to the warm air of something breathing onto my ear. I jumped out of bed, turning the light on. Slow rhythmic breath of something unseen remained, louder than before. I spent the rest of that night on the couch in the living room. My gosh, man.
Knuckle sandwich.
Hey, you ghost, how'd you like a knuckle sandwich? Hey, put up your dukes. This is a crazy round. Put up your dukes and start a battle. 2 years later, I slept soundly in my bed. In our new house. There had been no other incidences. And I was sure I had left behind whatever strangeness had plagued me. In that little average suburban home. I missed this last week. I missed it too. I was being lame. Remember what I even did? I think I was just playing games. Doing nothing and putting it off, like looking at the time, like... Oh, 6:30, too late for Creepypasta Friday. Yeah, I didn't do it last week. Stupid. Stupid. Betraddle.
Betraddle.
I want Jeff Sticer to read that to me. Okay, I was sure I had left behind whatever strangeness had plagued me. In that little average suburban home. Okay. I was, however, left one parting gift. My tormentors, and in my opinion, the watcher in that armchair was a different entity to the thing in the elongated room, had one last surprise in store for me. Like an animal claiming its territory, was not entirely out out of their grasp. Huh? I was not entirely out with their grasp. Is that a British thing, or it just weirdly worded? Okay. For one last terrifying moment, I felt the presence of those things. I lay there, sound asleep. Again, the wrong there. Come on, man. Suck me out of the story. Suck me out of the story and suck me off. I lay there, sound asleep. 2 years since those horrifying experiences. I was in the throes of a nightmare and suddenly, happily found myself awake. Safe and sound in my bed. The room was darker than usual. I breathed a sigh of relief, as one does when waking from a nightmare. I usually don't sigh with relief. I usually lay there just like... just like looking around my room. I hate nightmares. They're kind of cool, but I hate them. I like getting inspiration. I like getting inspiration from nightmares, but that's about it. That's it, yeah. But the room was so dark. I could see nothing at all, as if something had snuffed out the light. I chuckled to myself, realizing that I must have pulled my blanket up over my face while sleeping. Oh no. The cotton blanket felt cool against me, but the air was a little too warm. Oh. Almost stifling. Just as I was about to remove the blanket for some air, I heard it. The last time I heard it. The rhythmic breathing of the watcher at the end of my bed. Fear gripped me, followed by anger and despair. Why could I not be left alone? I then did something most peculiar. I decided to speak to it. Perhaps this thing did not mean to harm me. Perhaps it was unaware of the terror it had caused. Surely, a young boy deserved some mercy. I wake up in a fetal position, breathing as quietly as I can, because there's always something watching my... Yeah. My nightmares contain only remodels. I have legitimately had nightmares of remodels. Like, as an electrician, like, remodeling. Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, straight up, every time I wake up from a nightmare, I'm like, it's still going, it's not over. I'm like sweating my walls off. I hate that feeling. I really do. As the breathing grew louder and closer, I began to cry. He's 10 years old at this point. My goodness. I mean, okay, I was crying a ton when I was 10. That's not... I'm saying this is continuing on. Even. Okay, anyway. I could feel its presence on the other side of the blanket. Ugh. Its breath hanging over me like a stagnant wind. Through the tears, I uttered 2 words. Words which surely would put an end to all of this. Please stop. The breathing began to change. Became more animated, quicker somehow. I could hear something shuffling next to me, standing close by. The breathing then moved. First back to the foot of my bed, then slowly across the room. Through the door, into the hallway, and then gone. Half crying, half elated, I lay in the still darkness, my face still covered by the blanket. You may consider this a victory of some sort, but I do not. If those things were real, I know now, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that their intentions were not misconstrued. They were twisted, filled with malice. I would normally never use such a word to describe anything, but it's come as close to evil as I hope I ever come. How do I know that? I'll tell you how. Moments after that thing seemed to have left the house, something pressed forcefully down on top of me, pushing the blanket with great strength against my face. I could feel a large hand with long, thin fingers wrapping around the covers around my skull. Its nails imprinted upon me like razor-sharp ridges. I managed to slide down the gap between the bed and the wall, quickly making my escape, clambering and screaming out of my room, waking my family. Make no mistake, that thing in the darkness tried to smother me to death. It's the diddler. Okay, part 3, I will save for next week. And I think next week I will... well, that's an awesome... Pew, pew, pew. That's awesome. My goodness, holy crap. This is a freaking banger. This is a certified banger. Holy crap. Dang, I'm so used to reading bad stories, or stories that start off good and then just get boring and suck at the end. Like, I'm still not over that thing in the basement. I think it's because when I first listened to that one, already better than the Mimic. Yeah. And where did this come from? I have no idea. I've never heard anybody talk about this one. It's called Bedtime. I've never heard anyone talk about this. This is a freaking banger. Holy cow. But yeah, that thing in the basement, it started off like having bits and pieces that were like creepy and weird and stuff, but oh my gosh, like the last few chapters and parts of that just sucked so hard. I hope that doesn't happen again. Like when I first heard that thing in the basement, part 1 on Creepcast, I was like, this has like some good creepiness to it and some also like cheesy fun to it. It's like almost like an old 80s movie. Like it went pretty freaking hard, and they never read any more of it, just part 1. And so I read more of it. And there was probably a year in between the first time I heard part 1 to when I read the rest of it, and the utter disappointment of the way the rest of it went. I was like, man, it would be awesome if they read the rest of this in Creepcast. I'm glad they didn't. I'm genuinely glad they didn't. For a multiplicity of reasons. Holy crap. And this one... Is that Vi? That is Vi. I love Vi. I was thinking about Vi the other day. Every time it's the darkness. It's the darkness scary. You talking about that movie with the actress that plays Rogue in X-Men? What's her name? I keep wanting to say Anne Hathaway. Anna Paquin? I think that's her name. The one, I never actually watched that one. But I heard that it got pretty scary. You could hear that classic T-Rex sound. In it. I heard about the part with the dad. It's like, you want me to take my pills? I'll take my pills. And he's shoving them in his mouth like... Open the freaking door! Yeah. Man. I've thought about doing other things at other points in the week. Like, instead of doing a Creepypasta Friday, I'm doing, like... reading other stuff. I really enjoy reading stuff on stream. This is absolutely my favorite kind of streams to do. Is just reading things. Tomorrow I will be playing more Volcano Princess though. I will be streaming tomorrow. I am without Vivance, but I'm not without good vibes. I'm not gonna lie. I am just recently, within the past couple months, like coming out of a crazy depression that I was in last year. It was like I just could not be happy last year. It was crazy. Lovecraft. Read Lovecraft on stream? I don't know if that counts as a creepypasta, but I mean it would be creepy. I do have, you know what would be kind of fun? If I could read like a physical book on stream. Lovecraft Country script reading. Oh, I don't want to do that to everyone. Lovecraft Country was so disappointing, man. So we wanted to try other things. Yeah, I think doing book reading streams with the book physically, like sitting on my desk, reading with like a camera set up to read it. I've got a... Okay, I do have an unboxing stream planned at some point. There's just some things in the way. Like, I don't have a rig at any kind of setup to actually have a camera pointed down at my desk. I'll move to my room. Hey, nice and cozy. Yeah. I want to do that, and I want to make something to make my hands more presentable as the Mothman. I'm also, I don't know if I said this before, I'm working on a new Mothman design, so I'll look better. There's a lot of things about this model that I'm just not a fan of, that over time, for one thing, this was intentional when I made this model. It's just not detailed. It's just not very detailed at all. Like, I can pick up my old one. Like, with this one, I tried to do it just as a... like, detailed in the movement as possible. It can't help but notice Yewchewb. Can't help but notice Yewchewb's no receptacles in that room. Oh! Well, yeah, I'm in an attic. It's like a concrete attic or something. I'm actually really surprised I didn't do any outlets whatsoever in my room. Interesting. Amish Mothman confirmed. Ah, I've got my books. I've got, what else did I put in here? Is it literally all? Yeah, literally all just books. I'm gonna try whipping out my old Vtuber model. Dude, oh my gosh. Look at that. My arms aren't articulated at all. They're all completely stiff. My wings. But I really like how detailed this model is. My neck is so long. Yeah, I like the physics on the antenna. Also, just going with gray instead of pitch black, I think works a lot better. I think it works a lot better. You got jiggle physics. Okay, you gotta see them. But the jiggle physics on... on this bad boy, on my main one, boop, boop. Much better. Look at my wings, way better. It's a lot more movement. I actually made my arms move. It's just the problem here is because it's all like pitch black and then just like a little bit of gray on my chest, it's really hard to see how awesome. I did such a good job with the articulation of the like fingers gripping and moving around and stuff, but it's just hard to see. Wait, I had to wash my hands. Let me see. See what? Me right now or my old model? I also made the face much cuter. That is cute as Speaky though. Look at that. Oh, is she scared too? The old one? Okay. Has it been a while since you've seen the old one? Give me a second. I want to be classy and not just have anything up on screen. Yeah. I like the new one in general way more. This one's just so stiff. Just no movement. Changing skins. Yeah, this is only the second model I ever made. Yeah, it makes sense that it doesn't move very much. Stiff and a little oily. It does look oily. That's a good word to put it. Like, oh man. But you guys want a blast from the past. Look at this. Look at this bad boy. This is the first VTuber model I ever did. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Freaking sick, man. That would be pretty cool to do Yeah, another banana wafer, except rig him better. I still want to keep the Muppet hands. The bland feet. And there's some weird stuff going on with this.
Oh, he's so handsome. Oh, marvelous. Well, guys, I'm the Mothman. Oh, watashi wa Mothman desu.
I remember thinking I wanted to have physics on the hair. Like the front bangs and the ahoge. Yeah, I didn't know how to do that. And I literally just stayed up all night rigging this model. I learned how to, like, within the span of, like, 12 hours, I rigged this. I learned to rig, and I rigged this. We double the package. Hey, maybe. His eyebrows don't move? I was thinking triple. I wonder if I can do multiple instances. No, there's no way. Oh, wow! Dude, guys, check it out. This is just default. What's her name? Akari. Dude, I could make a pig now. If default VTube Studio model. She's got the look at the boob window.
Oh, belly button. Oh, thighs. Oh, feet.
Give us your girly voice. Okay.
Ohayo. Minna. Ohayo gozaimasu.
What was a good giggle? Why are these ominous? Oh! These toggles?
Mo. No.
Does that do anything? I'm scared of clicking on these random buttons.
Wow. Wow.
This is sick. Oh, let's go. Scared my child. She stepped on the old man in my house and made him yell at her. They're both dogs. Oh.
Wow. Miya-san. Ohayo. Dou desu ka? Kawaii?
Okay. Let's see what else we got. This is freaking epic, guys. This is freaking epic. Oh, this is what Neurosama used for a really long time before she got her own VTuber model. Yes, if anyone feels disappointed. That's cute. That's cute. Mouth isn't articulated.
Hey, baby girl.
Oh. Hidoi.
That's pretty hard. I like the way the feet move around. I wonder if it's worth doing something like that.
Yeah, welcome to Creepypasta Friday, guys. Nothing scarier than the voice of a grown man coming out of a kawaii anime girl. Ooh. Spooky.
It looks like my pregnant baby toiny sister. Oh! Look at this, guys. He's got a tongue.
That.
It's the cat from Ghost Stories. Do an old cat meow. I could play with this forever. Cat. I'm a kitty cat. And I dance, 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 and I dance, dance, dance. Cat. I'm a kitty cat. And I dance, 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 and I dance, dance, dance. Cat. I'm a kitty cat. And I dance, 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 and I dance, dance, dance. Cat. I'm a kitty cat. And I dance, dance, dance. I'm trying to think of a quote from Ghost Stories that won't end my stream immediately. It's just...
She's either a ghost or a... Get out of there! Get away from her, kids! She's a ghost and a...
I love Ghost Stories. I think that's it for... Wanko. What's this? Oh!
Oh! Oh, it is a wise dog. Ah. Inu, atama ga ii. No, inu.
Teacup puppy. This is the teacup. Another Vin Diesel reference. He can kill somebody with a teacup.
I'll kill you with my teacup. I got a teacup with a cute little puppy in it.
Whoa! What was that? What was that? Wait. You guys see that? There was like a lid or something that... Oh! Close! Close! You can do it! I can't get it. Try and get it to close on me. Boring. Next one. I really like that one. I'm not gonna lie. Pororo. Ah. The white cat. We like that. The mouth is way more animated on this one, it feels like. You have to reach up with your hands. I don't think it tracks hands. Well... That's a bit of an expectation. This one definitely doesn't track my hands. I talk with my hands a lot while I'm VTubing. Doggy one. Yeah, I'll I'll switch back to Lonkel. The hands are up. So close. I'm sure if I messed with the settings and stuff. I'm stretching up right now. Okay, when I stick out my tongue. Why? Why is it whenever I stick out my tongue it does it? You have to duck down. I don't know why it's my tongue. Very cute. Oops. I don't think I have anything else fancy to mess with. Just regular old me. Little speaky on top of my head. Okay. Well, that's about it. For nothing fancy, but it's yeah. I mean, it's anybody who pays for VTube Studio. It's theirs. It's theirs. Big as yours. Oh well, mine. Specifically mine. Yeah. Wow, it is crazy going back to this model and just how much I can move around and tilt my head and make faces and man. Feels good. Yeah, I'm working on a new model. You guys will see it soon enough. I'm not like working on it, but I'm like designing it in my head currently. It's the same thing that I did with this model. I like figured out in my head. It's not the most efficient way to do design, is to just think about it for a really long time and then eventually writing something down or drawing something or whatever. It's not the most efficient thing in the world to do, but I do that because I find a song I like or something, I'm like, oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Like all the game ideas I have. I have an idea for a game right now that I figure is just going to be my first game. Point and click adventure. That has romance. Not for you, but like you'd be like the god of love that comes down to the mortal realm. It's like fantasy, and you matchmake monsters, monster people with each other. Like a wolf guy with a deer girl and stuff like that. I have a very cute idea for it, and I think it could be a really great time. It warms my heart thinking about it, and I think I could make it moderately quickly, especially since I'm aware I know how to do VTube Studio, not VTube, Live 2D. I could animate it in Live 2D. Live 2D animations. Yeah, okay. Okay, well that's it for Creepypasta Friday, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with me though. That was a lot of fun. I kind of needed to talk and chill for a little bit. That story got to me. Holy freaking crap. My goodness. Okay. Good night, everybody. Good night. Have fun doing what you do. Good night. Good night, Bridges. Forgot my own fans' names. Gute Nacht. One last pipe falling.